The
The
Bills did.
Lions head coach made so what some are saying a questionable onside kick call with 12 minutes left in the game. Carl, this is a team that's more so closer to you, but I'm gonna start this with Mark. This topic is called Dan Gamble. This is the reaction to the game with the Bills and the Lions. The Bills have beaten two of the best teams in the NFL. They beat the Chiefs, and then they just beat the Lions in Detroit. What's your reaction to this game, Mark?
I mean, it was a high scoring game, you know. And the crazy thing is, Detroit was down like 21 points. I feel like at one point in time, and
It was on 14
they was down
nothing.
14, and they
Yeah,
came
they
back,
started down 14 nothing.
and they kept coming back, and it's like they defense couldn't get a stop for nothing. Everybody got hurt. Out of everybody kept getting hurt. Like one drive, the next drive another person got hurt. Then the next drive another person got hurt. Then the next drive the cornerback got hurt. Then the next drive the other corner had to come out. So it's like, dang, they couldn't get a stop to save their life. And maybe if they would have got a stop, they possibly could have won that game because the offense, they went on some type of little tear. They talked to each other in a huddle and like got hyped or something. They just started scoring like crazy. But the gamble, I don't think Dan Campbell has been doing gamble. He's been gambling all season, and it's been paying. Look at their record. Look at what they've been doing so far. So do I have an issue with that onside kick? No, because they couldn't stop somebody from throwing a. They couldn't, they couldn't stop nothing. They couldn't stop anything. So they needed to get the ball back to try to run the clock down and score, and then put the pressure on the Bills to score versus them, trying to play catch up. So I don't disagree with the call. It's early in the fourth, so you got time. If it don't work, you got time to at least make it up. So I don't have an issue with that. I mean, I'd say the fourth and the half. So I don't have an issue with that play call at all of going for the onside kick, especially when you can't do anything on. Can't get a stop on defense at all.
Yes, I agree with Mark. I didn't disagree with the call. No. I take that back. I personally was torn. I think I said I wouldn't do it, but I get the thought process of it because, like Mark said, they couldn't get a stop, and Mark was right. With 3:30 left in the third quarter, they were down 3 touchdowns. You can't get a stop. I'm gonna go over the Bills drive for y'all, right? So the Lions get the ball, they punt. Bills go touchdown, 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 missed field goal, halftime, and that missed field goal was from like the 5-yard line. They just couldn't get in the end zone. So you don't stop them from moving the ball at all. So I don't think it was a bad call, to be honest. You can't get a stop. And what it did was, if anything, because you can't say, oh, you kick it deep, you're going to stop the Bills from scoring. Well, you can't say that because the game shows the Bills are going to score regardless. Yeah, you can say trust your defense, get a stop. You just got two cornerbacks that were out for the game. Elaine McNeil, who was out. You already got endless injuries prior to the game. Right. You have to try to steal a possession somehow. And not only that, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe, just fumbled, I believe, the drive prior to them scoring a touchdown. So you have to steal a possession. Now, here was the thing with the onside kick, right? The pro was they got the ball short field and scored quick, which nobody talks about. That allowed the Lions to have more time to respond. So that was the pro. The con, obviously, they scored a touchdown with a short field. But the pro was they didn't take endless time off the game and not allow you time after time to respond to the touchdowns that they were scoring. So that's the pro there. So I'm not mad at the call. Defense was not getting any stops, as you can tell by the Bills putting up 48 points. The fact you, like Ty said in the comments, that is something I dislike. The fact you have to announce you're going for the onside kick sucks. It takes the element of surprise out of the game. I don't like that. But yeah, you had to try to steal a possession, and it just didn't work. Now, if it would have worked, everybody would call Dan Campbell a genius. Oh, the defense couldn't get a stop and way to steal a possession and help your team win the game. It just didn't work. That's all it is. But I'm not mad at that. But prior to the onside kick, my reaction to the game, this Lions offense is special, man. It really is. And it's dangerous when hot. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's dangerous when hot. Jameson Williams, he's dangerous when hot. I think he dropped a deep ball too. But this offense is special, man. And I'm not too worried about David Montgomery getting hurt with guys like Craig Reynolds, longtime Lion. He's in my opinion, he's a really good back. When he gets playing time, he gets yards. And you got Jamar Jefferson, former Oregon State guy. I like them in the 6th round for the Lions. So I think they got some backs that behind Jahmyr Gibbs that'll do just fine. Obviously, it won't be Sonic and Knuckles, but they'll be just fine. But yeah, I'm not mad at the call. It's just, man, the Bills were hot. Josh Allen was making some amazing throws, and they had to try to steal a possession after giving the possession away.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was mad at the call, but I didn't think it was me personally, I didn't think it was a good call. Because of what you said, because it has to be announced, and because you're giving them short field. Your defense already can't stop them, and now you're giving them an easier opportunity to be able to go and score. I get it. Your defense wasn't able to stop them even when they were, kicking it normally to the 20 or the 35-yard line. I get it, but you don't want to make it easier for them to be able to get another score in. And this Bills offense, got to give credit to this offense with James Cook and Josh Allen. And you had a game where Amari Cooper was a non-factor pretty much. He had 0 catches, 0 targets. He pretty much it was a cardio game for him. He pretty much didn't do anything. Now, he may have, caused some attention away from his other, because, Khalil Shakir got some
he had a great game too.
He had a really good game in that game. And Josh Allen he's played phenomenal these last few weeks, honestly. He hasn't had a turnover in the last 2 weeks, and he had 6+ touchdowns in 2 straight games. So it's been this was a season that really proved exactly how good Josh Allen is, because he didn't have a quote unquote number 1 wide receiver until he went and traded for Amari Cooper. And even getting Amari Cooper hasn't been what he was even when he was with Dallas, Cleveland in the beginning, or when he was with the Raiders. So you have that going with Josh Allen as well. His turnover has gone down. He hasn't been throwing picks every single game or fumbling within the next few games. So you got to give him that. I think right now he's leading as far as an MVP votes right now, as far as who people think will be the MVP this season.
Lamar's snatching that back. Don't you worry.
Lamar get the number 1 seed.
However,
he's not getting the number 1 seed, but he's going to steal that division.
However, the Bills defense is not good, so you got to be worried about that. You got to be worried about that.
I'm not saying
that. They have some guys that came back. Matt Milano came back on this defense. He came back in the 49ers game. Then so that's important there. But this has been back-to-back games. They're allowing a lot of points on defense. So, but one thing I noticed about the Lions as well is that even when they don't look good in the first half, they always make a comeback, because they did that against the Texans on Monday night this season when Jared Goff threw 5 picks in that game, and then came all the way back and still won that game because the Texans, couldn't do much, and their defense just pretty much stepped up. And even with all these injuries, with Aiden Hutchinson being out, Carlton Davis is out, it's a lot of injuries on this team.
Malcolm Rodriguez, Alexander Loney, Eric Barnes, Carlton Davis now, Emmanuel Mosley.
And that was my guy, Emmanuel Mosley. He a former 49er. He was a really good man-to-man corner. So you got all of this going, and they're still 12-2. This is still a really good Lions team. So this was a really, really, it was a great game to watch, honestly. And we like to see games where it's high scoring, but some defense still involved, but still some surprise. I personally wouldn't have made that onside kick call, but like Carl said, I get why, because the defense just wasn't able to get any stops. But I also get why it shouldn't have happened, because it was short field. The short field, you gave them an opportunity to score. And yes, they scored fast, but you don't want them to score at all. And if you do allow them to score, you want it at least to be a field goal. You don't want them to get a touchdown.
Yeah, but I just want to read off the drive results for the Bills. Touchdown, 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 missed field goal, end of half. Touchdown, 1 punt, the only punt in the game. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal, end the game. Bro, you kick that ball deep. You can't say you're not stopping them from scoring a touchdown. It's no way you can watch that game and say, oh, they would have stopped them. No. More time than not, they would have scored a touchdown anyway and just took more clock off the time. So that's why I'm not mad at it.
You're right. They needed a turnover or an extra possession. They need to get as many extra possessions as they possibly could without them scoring. And that onside kick was one of the only ways to do it, because they couldn't do nothing else on defense. So, I mean, they had to maybe block a punt, but they couldn't get it. They couldn't get him in 4th down to block a punt.
Exactly.
They couldn't block the field goal. I mean, you know how rare that is. Like, I mean, it's just they couldn't get the ball back. They needed extra possessions to try to score. So I mean, that's why I agree with the decision, or I'm not mad at it. I don't see why everybody's so flabbergasted over that decision. And I feel like that was, if you look at the way the game was flowing, that was actually, it wasn't bad. Only bad thing is that maybe NFL look at this next year that you have to announce it because it takes the element of surprise away. And
it was
the element
38
of surprise
28.
was the one that got you the onside kicks. The element of surprise, like when you know you're getting it. I mean, you know you're doing it. It's, the recovery rate pretty high, but if you don't know and that's when you steal a possession. They gotta do something about that. The NFL gotta do something about that.
Yeah, the score was 38-28, but yeah, they had to. I think Dan Campbell was just honestly desperate because of that defense, and he tried to pull out the stops. It's just couldn't get it done. But then you got look, the second onside kick, they almost recovered it. They was that close. I think it was Ezekiel Turner, somebody knee for the Lions, hit the ball back into the defender to Terry Johnson's belly of the Bills, or if they might have recovered that onside kick. It just wasn't executed. But yeah, that's that on that, in my opinion. I don't think it was a bad call. I mean, I don't think it was a bad call. I get the logic behind it. Also, I want to say this. Somebody said that the Lions defense is trash. No, it's not. They just banged up. The Lions defense is not bad. They're injured as a mug. Like Dave said, Emmanuel Mosley is a great man-to-man corner. I think he got hurt before the season started. Derek Barnes is the captain. I think he got hurt early. They out their top 3 middle linebackers. They just banged up, and they're not coming back. Aiden Hutchinson, gone. John Kaminsky, a guy that unless you lost the Lions, you probably don't know about, out. So they just banged up. I think even DJ Reader is out for the year. Like, they so hurt.
Yeah, they are hurt. Man, we got people giving up prediction scores for games we didn't even talk about yet.
Yeah, little G.
I think that's Friday, my boy. But hey, man.
Hey, it's okay. We got your predictions. We know who you think gonna win that game.
Oh, you already know.
All right, y'all.